Hello, everyone. Thanks for listening to Wake Up, Look Up, a podcast where we connect events happening in real time to the gospel of Jesus Christ. I'm Zach Wyrock. And in this episode, we're talking about Ohio marijuana. Could this drug help our communities? Yeah, you probably know that last election season, the state of Ohio voted to legalize recreational marijuana. Medical marijuana had already been legal in the state, but of course that required the approval of a doctor in the same way any other prescription medicine would. This vote made it so that any adult over the age of 21 who was wanting to smoke marijuana could. No license, no doctor's note, nothing else required. Now, the vote has taken some time to come into action. So there were some procedural things that had to be worked out, the number of licenses that were going to be issued, that kind of thing. But it is now on our doorstep. In fact, I read an article this week about Ohio that said that we are moving faster to provide licenses to marijuana dispensaries than any state has since states have been legalizing marijuana. So our legislators are working to make this a reality in keeping with the will of our people. Of course, the question is this good for our state? And maybe on a micro level, is this good for our communities? The presence of a dispensary, the ability of adults to smoke marijuana without fear of criminal reprisal, is that good for us? If you dig into the data, what you're going to find is that the answer to that is pretty overwhelmingly no. In fact, in an article in The Economist this week, there were studies that are coming out that are showing the damaging effects of recreational marijuana use. These are some pretty staggering numbers. 1 in 6 Americans currently are smoking marijuana monthly. 1 in 20 are smoking it every day. 1 in 20 Americans are smoking marijuana every day. And if you want some context for that number, that's more Americans smoking marijuana every day than there are Americans drinking alcohol every day, more regular users of marijuana than that of alcohol. And the thing is, regular use of marijuana has some negative effects. It increases mental health disorders such as schizophrenia and depression. It results in heart disease, greater risk of stroke. It also leads to things like making less money or working less. Regular marijuana users in general work less and make less money than their non-smoking counterparts. Some other things that are interesting is only 42% of regular marijuana smokers will report that they are in good health. That number, by the way, excludes medical marijuana users. So it takes out those whose bad health led them to marijuana and just looks at otherwise healthy people who are regularly smoking marijuana. So 58% of the people who are doing that are saying my health is below good. In other words, the data suggests that smoking marijuana is not good for us, and that the legalization of marijuana puts something into the hands of our neighbors that is fundamentally not good for them. Now, what does that mean for us as Christians? Well, probably two things. One is that smoking marijuana is not something that Christians should pursue. Not only is it that their data suggests that it's bad for your health, bad for your economics, bad for many areas of your life, but also it is because smoking marijuana leads to impairment. It fits under the biblical prohibitions against drunkenness. The difference between having a glass of wine and drinking a bottle of wine is that a glass of wine still leaves you in control of your actions and your choices. Drinking the bottle of wine means you're not in control. Using the Bible's language, it means the bottle of wine is in control. And as people whose lives belong to God, we shouldn't give control of our hearts and minds to anything other than Him, including a substance. But it also means that Christians should be asking really hard questions about what is actually good for our neighbors. Overwhelmingly, marijuana and its negative effects are seen in poor communities that really can't withstand any more damage that is being done. So we're going to need to ask questions about what is good for our neighbors, what is good for our communities, what's good for ourselves. I know there's a difference between saying something isn't good and something should be illegal. We're not criminalizing large sodas or fast food, and these things are by and large not good for us or good for our neighbors. But Christians need to be careful not to get swept up into what is allowable versus what is good. And that's what the Apostle Paul said when he said some things are permissible, but they're not beneficial. It's increasingly looking like marijuana, at least in the recreational sense, falls into that category. So as Christians, we should be talking amongst ourselves, with our children, with our neighbors, using our influence to make sure that our communities are getting better and that they're protected from either marijuana itself or at least from its negative effects. Hey, thanks for watching this video. Make sure you hit like and subscribe to get future content from Wake Up Look Up and from Christ Community Chapel. And while you're here, check out the other videos we have available.